Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the book of the prophet Ezekiel. And he turned me back to the gate of the house. And behold, waters went out from under the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the face of the house looked toward the east. But the waters descended to the right side of the temple, toward the south of the altar. And he led me out by the way of the north gate, and he turned me back by the way outside the exterior gate, the way that looks toward the east. And behold, the waters gushed out from the right side. And he said to me, These waters, which go forth toward the hillocks of sand to the east, and which descend to the plains of the desert, will enter the sea and will go out, and the waters will be healed. And every living soul that moves, wherever the torrent arrives, will live. And there will be a very great multitude of fish, after these waters have arrived there, and they will be healed. And all things will live, wherever the torrent shall go. And along the torrent, on its banks on both sides, every kind of fruit tree will rise up. Their foliage will not fall away, and their fruit will not fail. Every month they will ripen, because their waters will issue forth from the sanctuary, and its fruits will be for food, and its leaves will be for medicine.
God is our refuge and our strength,
A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. You are God's building. According to the grace of God given to me, like a wise master builder, I laid a foundation, and another is building upon it. But each one must be careful how he builds upon it, for no one can lay a foundation other than the one that is there, namely, Jesus Christ. Do you not know that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy that person, for the temple of God, which you are, is holy. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. And the Passover of the Jews was near, and so Jesus ascended to Jerusalem. And he found in the temple the sellers of oxen and sheep and doves, and the money changers sitting down. And when he had made something like a whip out of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, including the sheep and the oxen. And he poured out the brass coins of the money changers, and he overturned their tables. And to those who were selling doves, he said, Take these things away from here, and do not make my Father's house a house of commerce. And his disciples remembered that it is written, Zeal for your house consumes me. Then the Jews responded and said to him, What sign can you show to us that you may do these things? Jesus responded and said to them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Therefore the Jews said, This temple has been built up over 46 years, and you will raise it up in 3 days. But he was speaking about the temple of his body. Therefore, when he had risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this, and they believed the scripture and the word that Jesus had spoken. Join us for today's reflection. Today we celebrate the dedication of the Lateran Basilica, the Cathedral of Rome and technically the Pope's Church. It's the oldest public church building in the world, dedicated in 324 AD. We celebrate it because it represents something bigger than one building. It represents the church becoming public, visible, established. But the readings take us somewhere more personal. Jesus walked into the temple and lost it. Found people selling oxen, sheep, and doves. Money changers set up shop. The temple had become a marketplace. So he made a whip out of cords and drove them all out, overturned the tables, scattered the coins, drove out the sheep and oxen. Stop making my Father's house a marketplace. His disciples remembered the scripture. Zeal for your house will consume me. Jesus wasn't having a bad day. This was calculated, focused. He saw God's house being used wrong and he cleaned it out. The Jews challenged him. What sign can you show us for doing this? By what authority are you wrecking our religious economy? Jesus gave them an answer they didn't understand until after the resurrection. Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. They thought he meant the building. It took 46 years to build this temple, and you'll raise it in 3 days. But he was talking about his body, the temple of his body. When he died and rose, they got it. The building was never the point. Jesus himself is the temple, the place where God meets humanity, the location where heaven and earth connect. Paul takes it further. Do you not know that you are God's temple and that the Spirit of God dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy that person. For the temple of God, which you are, is holy. You are the temple, not the building in Rome, not the structure they're celebrating today. You, your body, the place where God's Spirit lives, that makes you holy. That makes you the location where heaven and earth are supposed to meet. That makes you the spot where God encounters the world. Which raises the question Jesus answered with a whip. What's going on in your temple? Is it a house of prayer or a marketplace? Are you the location where people encounter God, or are you so cluttered with commerce and transaction and noise that nobody can find him there? Ezekiel saw water flowing from the temple, from under the threshold on the right side. The water brought life everywhere it went, trees growing on both banks producing fresh fruit every month. Leaves for healing. Everything the water touched came alive. That's what's supposed to flow from you. Life, healing, fresh fruit. Not because you're trying hard, but because God's Spirit lives in you and naturally produces what only God can produce. But if your temple is full of money changers and livestock and religious commerce, that flow gets blocked. You are God's building. Paul says you're being built on the foundation of Jesus Christ. No one can lay a foundation other than the one already laid. You can build on that foundation with quality materials or garbage, gold, silver, precious stones, or wood, hay, straw. The day will test what each person built. Fire will reveal the quality. Here's what that means practically. Your life is either revealing Christ or obscuring him. Your body, your temple, is either a place where people encounter God or a place where they just encounter religious noise and commercial transaction. Are you full of the stuff Jesus would drive out with a whip, or are you a location where life flows? The psalm says there is a stream whose runlets gladden the city of God. God is in its midst, it shall not be disturbed. That stream is supposed to flow from you. That stability in the midst of chaos is supposed to be visible in your life, not because you're holding it together, because God's Spirit lives in your temple. Most Christians treat themselves like the building in Rome, something to visit occasionally, something to maintain, something to feel proud about. But Paul says you are the temple, present tense, active, right now. The Spirit of God dwells in you. That's not a metaphor. That's not poetry. That's reality. You are the place where God lives, which means cleaning out your temple matters. What are you letting set up shop inside you? What commercial transactions are you running in the space that's supposed to be holy? What noise is drowning out the presence of God in the one place where He's chosen to live? Jesus made a whip, overturned tables, drove out what didn't belong. He was consumed with zeal for his Father's house. Are you consumed with zeal for the temple you are? Or are you so used to the marketplace you've built inside that you don't even notice it anymore? Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Jesus died. The temple of his body was destroyed. 3 days later he raised it. And now you are that temple. You are the body where God's Spirit lives. You are the location where heaven meets earth. You are the place life is supposed to flow from. The question is whether anyone can tell. When people encounter you, do they find God? Or do they just find religious commerce and noise? Is there water flowing from your temple bringing life? Or has the flow been blocked by all the stuff you've let set up shop where only God should be? The Lateran Basilica matters because it represents the church going public. But you matter more because you're not a building people visit. You're a temple God lives in. And what happens in that temple determines whether life flows from you or whether you're just one more religious structure that needs Jesus to walk in with a whip.